Now, Friday Night Blitz on KEZI 9 News.
Welcome to the Friday Night Blitz. I'm Jake Sivan alongside Eric Elkin. No surprise, the Sheldon Irish cruised past South Medford a week ago.
The Irish appear to be well on their way to another conference title and another state title run.
But tonight they hosted the only other unbeaten team in the Southern Oregon Conference. Number 1, Sheldon at home against the Crater Comets, and yeah, Crater's not undefeated anymore. Sheldon already up 7-0. Taylor Alley airing it out, and Justin Brabham laying out a fantastic diving catch by Brabham inside the 5, and shortly after, Alley will roll out to his right, take his time, and then look back to his left and find Connor Strom wide open. Touchdown Irish, 14-0. More from Strom. It's middle of the second quarter. Strom in the Wildcat, or the Wild Irish, takes the direct snap, gets in a typical Irish route tonight, 48-0 over the Comets.
Thurston playing down at North Medford. We'll pick it up in the third quarter. It's 13-10 Colts. Colts heavily favored in this one. For the Black Tornado, though, it was a whole lot of this guy. Evan Heisey with a big run down the sideline. That set up the Tornado with good field position, but Taylor Peterson picks off the Troy Fowler offering. Thurston would turn it into points, 19-10, the Colts on top. But North Medford would respond again with Heisey. A good chunk of yardage again on the run by Heisey. Look at the patience, getting to the outside, running down the sideline. Heisey had a big night, over 200 yards on the ground. He'd take it in for a score from there, a couple of yards out. North Medford cut the lead to 2. Thurston, though, keeping their foot on the pedal. Corey Wyke finds Jack Miller. Single coverage, great catch by Miller, would lead to another score, 26-17. Colts hang on to win 26-20.
South Eugene looking for its first win of the season, playing at Grants Pass, first quarter. Anthony Maddie gets the handoff for the Cavemen and gets into the end zone. It's 7-0 Grants Pass on top. More from them. The fake and the little end around to Riley Verich works perfectly. 14-0 Cavemen. Grants Pass just pouring it on. Hunter Rich to Jonah Musser. He sheds a few tacklers, 2 tacklers, and gets in for a touchdown. 21-0 Grants Pass, but South Eugene gets on the board. Screen pass to Malik Inocencio, and he weaves in between a few Grants Pass defenders, gets in for a touchdown. It was all Cavemen, however. Grants Pass wins 52-7.
South Medford visiting Roseburg, picked things up in the second quarter going into halftime. Hayden Lent tries to air it out, but Lent's pass picked off by South Medford's Adrian Garcia. Garcia with a long return back up near the goal line, gets all the way close to the goal line, but South Medford would go on to score 13-6. Roseburg going into the half. Third quarter, South Medford trying to hang on to a 2016 lead. Juan Contreras strips Hayden Lent there. Then Roseburg trying to make something of it. The running back tosses it up in the air. How about the halfback pass? Another Adrian Garcia interception. Then in the fourth quarter, Medford trying to seal the game. Riley Williams hits the field goal to put South up by 8. Game would end close. South Medford squeezing out a 23-22 win.
Time for our weekly Thomas Tyner watch. Number 3 Aloha hosting Beaverton. Tyner only played in the first half of this game, but you wouldn't be able to tell based on his stat line. That's a 93-yard touchdown you're looking at right now, by the way. 15 carries, 311 yards, and 5 rushing touchdowns for the future Duck. Again, all coming in just 2 quarters. About the same stat line as Jake Lacoste, which we'll get to in a second, from West Albany. Aloha cruises to a 42-22 win, so no real big surprises in 6A. Eric Sheldon continuing to dominate.
But what about in 5A? We'll start Midwestern League play, and we'll start with Marist at number 2 Marist, at Eagle Point. It was our KEZI 9+ game of the week. Marist starts things off with a 29-yard touchdown run by who? Austin Baird. 7-0 Marist on top. Then Cameron Smith, a 21-yard pass, hooks up with Liam Henshaw. Henshaw backpedaling and catches it. Marist touchdown, makes it 20-0. Then the Spartans on 4th and goal. Why not go for it? Cameron Smith to Josh Harper in the end zone. Marist touchdown made it 27-0. Spartans just continuing to cruise again. They go on to win 47-0.
Churchill got back to its winning ways last week, visiting Willamette tonight. Just over a minute left in the third quarter. Churchill leading 24-0 going into the second half. Ball on their own 5-yard line. Kosi Mitchell hands off to Bryce York 67 yards later. Gets down inside the 30. Later in the drive, it's the fourth quarter now. It's York again. Touchdown Wolverines. Made it 24-6. They need 3 scores of 8, so they go for 2. It's Mitchell to Trevor White. They get the 2, and it's 24-8. Lead cut down a little bit, but still a ways to go for Willamette, 24-8. Ball on the 6. Mitchell to Dante Giles takes it in for a Willamette touchdown, so it's 26-14. They went for 2, didn't get it that time. Willamette almost completed the comeback, but the Lancers win 29-26. It was a wild game.
North Eugene's 2-1 in league play, making the trip down south to Ashland tonight. Ashland, though, gets rolling quickly in this one. Connor Cagey swings it out to Quade Walters, who does the rest, shows off some moves down the sideline. Inside the 20, it would lead to a touchdown that put Ashland up 7-0. More Grizzly Bears. You love that, Jake.
I do.
Cagey looking deep, finds R.J. Atterbury, who turns up field, gets inside the 1, a short touchdown run later. It's 14-0 Ashland. Atterbury is a two-way player. This time on defense, jumps in front of Johnny Dawson for the pick, and then takes it in for 6. They call it a pick 6. 21-0, not even midway through the first. Grizz are looking like a certain college football team with the same name that's down south. Yeah, you know, or Montana, excuse me. 55-0 over North Eugene.
I wrote that.
Yeah.
One other score from the Midwestern League, number 6, Springfield, continuing to roll. What a start to the season for the Millers. 55-18 over Marshfield. Springfield improves to 5-1. Well, it's time to shift our focus a little bit north of Eugene to the Corvallis area. Stephen Nelson joins us live in the studio with a wrap-up of Mid-Willamette League play. Stephen?
Jake, we know Sean Mannion and the Beavers are off to an impressive 3-0 start, but Mannion's dad still might have the family bragging rights. His Silverton team is 5-0 and ranked number 2 in the state. Silverton visiting Lebanon on homecoming weekend. Pick it up in the second half. It was 21-6 after the third. Now in the fourth, Ken Pike goes up the gut untouched, and the Warriors unable to catch him. 73-yard touchdown run and made it 28-6 Silverton. Lebanon tried to mount a comeback, but the Fox. Silverton defensive back wide receiver Wyatt Arrington, he'll shut the door on that comeback. The junior picks it off. Foxes run out the clock. 28-6 the final. 6-0 start for John Mannion and company, but he says no bragging rights between him and his son, just pride for the Beavers.
They're a great group of guys, and I mean that. Every player I've met, and I've met a lot of them, is just first class. And I think it's good to see their hard efforts coming to fruition. I mean, I'm sure, just like us, it's a long season ahead, and tomorrow's a really tough game. And you know, but I'm proud that my son's part of that program, and I'm proud that my son plays for Mike Riley, because he's a great man.
Can't argue that. Battle of the Albanese, South at West. What a night for West. Jake Lacoste. First quarter, 7-0 West. Lacoste already had a score called back, but he gets that one back here. 14-0 Bulldogs after Lacoste finds the end zone. On the next possession, it was a pretty weird play. West QB Cody LaHoda will keep it himself. I even got faked out. He gets face mask, yanked down, but before he gets pulled down, he says, "You take it, Jake." Lacoste will do the rest. 21-0 West. We'll go to the second quarter. It's now 35-0 Bulldogs. Lacoste, he's going to go for his 5th score, and he's going to have to dance along the sidelines to get it. Nice moves. 42-0. Is he done yet? Absolutely not. Jake Lacoste gets to the outside after cutting through the middle, and he'll find the end zone for a 6th time. He finished with 370 yards on 15 carries and those 6 touchdowns in the first half. He didn't even play the second half. West Albany routs South 75-18 the final. Number 9, Crescent Valley making the short trip to Corvallis for the crosstown rivalry. Raiders up 17-0 in the second. Nick Possessi will power it in from a couple yards out. Crescent Valley up big, 24-0. Raider defense was also huge in this one. Corvallis threatening, but Brad Taylor will hang on for the sack of Mathurin Langley. So Crescent Valley will get the ball back with less than a minute to go in the half. Tanner Sanders hits Chase McFadden in the end zone with 11 seconds left. CV led it 31-0 at the break in the third. More of the same. Sam Kane scores from a yard out. Crescent Valley, another blowout victory. Corvallis 52-16. They fall. Also in Mid-Willamette League play, Woodburn falls to Dallas 27-21. So John Manning, he says he will be at the Beaver game tomorrow. It's Dad's weekend after all. And he said he's going to be nervous as heck. Jake, Eric, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Stephen. If you're keeping track, Jake Lacoste, 15 carries, 307 yards, 6 touchdowns. Thomas Tyner also with 15 carries, also just one half of play. He had 4 more yards than Lacoste, 1 fewer touchdown. So who had the better night?
I'd say they're both good.
Yeah, over 300 yards in 2 quarters. Not bad. That's a look at 6A and 5A. We have plenty more ahead on Friday Night Blitz. Coming up after the break, 4A and 3A. That's next.
Welcome back to Friday Night Blitz on KEZI 9 News.
Welcome back for more Friday Night Blitz. Jake Sivan alongside Eric Elk.
Jake, time to take a look at some of the games in 4A and 3A, and for that we bring in Lauren Michler. Lauren.
That's right, guys. Douglas lost its league opener last week at North Bend. Tonight, the Trojans were looking to get to 500 in the far west. Douglas hosting Brookings Harbor, and there they are right there in the first quarter. After Douglas turnover, quarterback J.R. Helm takes it up the middle to put the Bruins up early. No point after the touchdown. There's the score 6-0. Brookings Harbor still in the first quarter. Looks like QB Jordan Schaefer is going to lose it here, but he squeezes by, avoids a tackle, tucks it in and runs off to the sideline, and then the ball pops out and back into the hands of Douglas's Nate Visica. So that was a quick and lucky recovery by them. On the next play, quarterback Jordan Schaefer takes it up the middle for a touchdown there to make it 7-6 Douglas. Now in the second quarter, Schaefer connects with Bryce Watson for a score, and that put Douglas up 14-6. And your final there, we'll get it for you later. All right, 3A, Pac-West showdown between Harrisburg and Stadium Christian. First SC drive of the game, Grant Schroeder hits Trenton Jancy in the end zone. Eagles would convert the 2-point conversion, 8-0 SC. Ensuing kickoff, Harrisburg's Jordan Dory cannot corral the onside kick. Stadium Christian recovers, and here come the Eagles again. Grant Schroeder. Here we go. Quick pass to Jacob Callis. Callis does the rest. Watch as he takes a quick hit here as he crosses the goal line. Eagles up 14-zip. And the next SC drive, Schroeder up top this time, but he connects with Christian Fulbright. Eagles cruise to another Pac-West win. 47-21 is the final there. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks a lot, Lauren. That Douglas final 42-17. Douglas beats Brookings Harbor. Well, up at the college level, another big day here tomorrow. Oregon and Oregon State, Eric, the only 2 remaining unbeaten teams in the Pac-12.
Who would have thought that at the beginning of the season? The Ducks and Dogs rivalry will add its newest chapter tomorrow night at Autzen in a top 25 matchup. Kelly's first season in Eugene was 2007. In the 5 games that Kelly has faced Washington, the Ducks have won by an average of 26.6 points, with the closest being last year when the Ducks won 34-17. The games have still been chippy, like when the teams played in Eugene 2 years ago, but the last time Washington beat Oregon was all the way back in 2003, and it hasn't been close since then. So the players, just like Chip Kelly, don't know this as a rivalry.
We got kids that are 17, 18, 19 years old, and you talk 10 years ago, they were 7 and 8, you know, and they don't know what 7 and 8. They were SpongeBob SquarePants. You know, they weren't worried about Joey Harrington.
SpongeBob SquarePants, I like that.
That's pretty great. So speaking of chippiness, 2 years ago against a Washington team. In 2010, when Washington State came into Corvallis and beat the Beavers, that game was highlighted by a cheap shot that got no reaction from Oregon State. Check this out. This was the first play from scrimmage in that game, a standard handoff to Jaquiz Rogers. Quiz is ridden out of bounds by Quentin Mizell and then driven to the concrete about 10 yards out of bounds, right in the middle of the Beaver bench. A dirty play, no doubt, and most noticeably, there was very little response from the rest of Oregon State's team. It's a play that was indicative of that lackluster 2010 season. But the Beavers say, Jordan Poyer says, if something similar happens tomorrow, the reaction will be much different.
We remember that, and so, you know, that's something that we're going to use as motivation. You know, they're just not going to come in here and knock us around. We got to set the tone early and hit them in the mouth first. Shoot, I can't even imagine what would happen if that would happen right now. You know, guys would be off the bench, you know, ready to go, you know, fired up. And so, you know, that, like you said, guys on this team, you know, we're a family, and we're all brothers. Everybody's close, and nothing like that would ever happen again.
Jake, you know, one of the good things about redoing the turf that they did at Reeser, there's no more concrete around the edge. So if something like that were to happen, you wouldn't be landing face first on the concrete.
Even if they drive him that far to bounds.
Yeah.
This is a different team with a different attitude. They're definitely going to respond. For Eric Elkin, I'm Jake Simon. That's Friday Night Blitz. Good night.